Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 craziest movie fan theories that turned out to be wrong.
I've just had the best summer of my life and now I have to go away. It isn't fair.
Or is it just happening inside my head?
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
For this list, we'll be going over the most bizarre fan theories about films that ended up being incorrect, despite many feeling oddly plausible. Which of these theories had you fooled? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Owens Origins, Jurassic World. In the original Jurassic Park film, Dr. Alan Grant gives an annoying kid a lesson about the respect he should feel for velociraptors.
The point is, you are alive when they start to eat you. So, try to show a little respect.
Fast forward 20 plus years, and Jurassic World stars Owen Grady, a trainer for living raptors at a fully functioning dinosaur park. Some fans have suggested that these two characters are one and the same, and that the boy took his newfound respect for these animals and made a career out of it.
You made them and now you think you own them.
We do own them. Extinct animals have no rights.
They're not extinct anymore, Hoskins.
Exactly.
However, both Chris Pratt, who plays Owen, and Whit Hertford, who played the boy, have shot down this theory, leaving fans feeling blue. Number 9. The Day, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
The movie's called Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so naturally many fans were curious. Which day is it? The legendary teenage ditcher and his friends do a lot of fun things while skipping school, including attending a baseball game. Some eagle-eyed fans figured out who was playing that day and decided on the date June 5th, 1985. This does fit, given that the story seems to take place near the end of the school year. However, there's also the small matter of the huge von Steuben parade that's a major set piece too. This takes place in September and appears later in the movie. Life does move pretty fast, but we're pretty sure you can't fit that much time in one day. Number 8. Sandy is Dead, Grease. The conclusion of Grease sees lovebirds Sandy and Danny fly off into the sky in a car. That's weird, right? Sure, it's a musical and people break into song randomly, but a flying car? One theory supposed that, since Sandy is said to have nearly drowned when she and Danny first met, that the whole film is a near-death hallucination. Sandy did drown, and her ascent in the convertible is actually her ascent to heaven.
I've just had the best summer of my life and now I have to go away. It isn't fair.
However, even if this idea is the one that you want, the musical's writer Jim Jacobs has brought it down to earth, claiming its inventor must have been on acid. Number 7. Andy's late father owned Woody, Toy Story. Toy Story has sparked a ton of theories, such as why the toys come to life in the first place.
I'm gonna teach that boy a lesson.
Yeah, sure, you go ahead. Melt him with your scary laser.
Be careful with that. It's extremely dangerous.
But one of the strangest has to do with its human characters. The rumored original source was supposedly the late Joe Ranft, once head of story for Pixar. It posits that Andy, the boy who owns Woody and the rest of the toys, was not Woody's first owner. Instead, the Andy written on Woody's boot refers to Andy's father. The theory further states that Andy Sr. died of post-polio syndrome and passed his toys on to his son.
Woody doesn't even realize that his original owner has passed away, or that the Andy playing with him now isn't the Andy who wrote his name on his boot.
However, Toy Story writer Andrew Stanton has poisoned this waterhole, calling it fake news.
Somebody's poisoned the waterhole!
Number 6. Donnie Is Imaginary, The Big Lebowski. The two main protagonists of this hilarious movie are Walter and the Dude, although they're sometimes joined by Donnie, their bowling teammate.
Were you listening to the dude's story?
I was bowling.
So you have no frame of reference here, Donnie.
You're like a child who wanders into the middle of a movie and wants to know...
Walter, what's the point, man?
Far less assertive than his friends, Donnie is frequently ignored by the duo, except when Walter tells him to shut up.
He peed on my rug!
He peed on the dude's rug.
Donnie, you're out of your element!
This inspired the theory that Donnie is just a figment of Walter's imagination. The cast members have even mentioned it at a reunion. However, not only do the writer-directors, the Coen brothers, not abide with this idea, the movie doesn't either. The dude responds to Donnie several times. And then there's the memorable moment of Donnie's ashes being blown into the dude's face after his death. This theory will not stand, man.
The dude minds. This will not stand, you know? This aggression will not stand, man.
Number 5. Max Isn't Max. Mad Max Fury Road. When a character is recast, it's bound to create some concerns with continuity. Such was the case with the newest Mad Max film, which saw Tom Hardy take over the title role.
Max. My name is Max.
However, some fans thought that his new appearance could be explained another way. The theory supposes that Hardy's character is really an adult version of the unnamed feral kid from The Road Warrior. The biggest pieces of evidence are their mutual fondness for nonverbal communication and a music box similar to the one that Max gave the feral kid showing up in Fury Road. Sadly, it was not a lovely day when director George Miller debunked this theory, pointing out that The Road Warrior's narrator is an adult feral kid.
As for me, I grew to manhood. In the fullness of time, I became the leader, the chief of the great northern tribe, and the road warrior. That was the last we ever saw of him.
Number 4. Harry Potter and the Imaginary Wizards, the Harry Potter franchise. The Harry Potter fandom is a large and devoted one, which has led to a plethora of wild theories. As tempting as it was to discuss the one where Dumbledore is secretly a time-traveling Ron, this one is even more insane, almost literally. According to some fans' ideas, Harry is not a wizard at all, but rather a mentally ill young man whose abusive upbringing leads him to imagine his adventures at Hogwarts.
I'm warning you now, boy. Any funny business, any at all, and you won't have any meals for a week. Giddy.
The school is not for witches and wizards, but rather an asylum Harry is committed to. Voldemort, meanwhile, is an externalization of Harry's darker impulses. J.K. Rowling has debunked this theory, however. Either way, of course, just because something is inside your head doesn't mean it isn't real, right?
Is this all real? Or is it just happening inside my head?
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. Why should that mean that it's not real?
Number 3. Darth Jar Jar, the Star Wars franchise. Star Wars has generated its own fair share of fan theories.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
No. I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
While the idea that Supreme Leader Snoke was Palpatine's legendary master, Darth Plagueis, was also off the wall, an even more unbelievable mastermind would have been Jar Jar Binks.
I'm stubborn. You know, I find that Jar Jar creature to be a little odd.
The floppy-eared CGI comic relief character is a low point in the franchise in many people's books, but some theorists have suggested that he was smarter than he seemed. The theory holds that Jar Jar was actually a Sith Lord, secretly influencing those around him with mind control to help bring Palpatine to power.
Misa propose that the Senate give immediately emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor.
Higher-ups connected to the franchise like J.J. Abrams have debunked the theory, and given that Jar Jar was made to appeal to kids, it seems very unlikely. Number 2. Pixar Universe. Pixar films. So all-encompassing that it's usually just called the Pixar theory, this idea holds that every Pixar movie ever made is actually part of a shared universe.
So today, we're simplifying things and making a new, updated Pixar theory covering everything from Toy Story through The Incredibles 2.
The origins of it are generally the Easter eggs referencing previous movies that Pixar tends to put in their films, or background characters that look like old characters showing up in new movies.
You're a witch! Wood carver!
Theorists have used these minute connections to construct an elaborate timeline, with Brave's magic giving people superpowers in The Incredibles, and movies like Cars or WALL-E taking place in the distant future.
In a 200-lap, winner takes all tiebreaker race.
Now, Bob, you know I got a lot of miles on me, but let me tell you something, buddy. I never thought I'd see anything like this. Woo!
However, Pixar animators and executives like Mark Nielsen have revealed that the Easter eggs are just winks at the audience, and similar characters are just reused assets.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You'll have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The Codename, the James Bond franchise. No, not 007. We're talking about the name, Bond, James Bond.
I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
This popular theory suggests that, like the real-world role, James Bond is a codename passed on to different men within the story. Proponents point to the different actors who have played the part, as well as a few tongue-in-cheek references.
This never happened to the other fella.
However, even the movies themselves poke holes in this idea. For instance, continuity like the death of Bond's wife, as well as recurring characters like Q and M, illustrate that it's different men as the same character. Additionally, Casino Royale being a definitive reboot origin story, as well as the appearance of the Bond family home in Skyfall, make it clear that the spy was born Bond, not made.
This is where you grew up. How old were you when they died?
You know the answer to that. You know the whole story.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.